everyone, welcome back to our Yellow Couch Chat session. We meet here every Friday to talk about different issues happening in the workplace, life, and everything in between. In a very special way today, we are going to be talking about becoming a business leader. We have so many young people out there calling themselves business leaders. Some call themselves CEOs, founders. It's a wave. So we have here with us Mr. Conrad Msoma. He is the head of HR from Serengeti Breweries Limited, and he will take us through this journey. What is it to be what does it mean to be a business leader, and what skills do you need, and everything. So, karibuni sana. Feel free to drop your comments, share your views. Why do you think young people call themselves business leaders today? And does everyone need to be a business leader? That and much more. Karibuni sana. My name is Nancy Bogoro, and this is Yellow Couch. So, Conrad, karibu sana. This is Yellow Couch. We would like you to share with us your wisdom, your knowledge on becoming a business leader. I know you've worked in the corporate world for quite some time now. I'm sure you have a lot to share and secrets to your success so far. But before we get into that, would you please tell our viewers, what does it mean to be a business leader?
Okay, thank you very much, Nancy. First of all, before I talk about the business leaders, let me unpack to talk about first the leader and leaders. Who is this?
Absolutely.
What are the key important things on the leader?
Yes.
And the leader is not necessarily that it has to be in the corporate world, because there are three main important characteristics which are demonstrated by leaders. The first one is the ability to have the focus, to know that what do you intend to do in the future, how the futures will look like. That's very important part of the characteristic of a leader. And then the power to make a decisions making around that, and then exercising the authority. So those are the three things which are important for any leaders. So even taken in a very, very simple way, forget about the corporate world. Just took on somebody who is maybe a cleaner. Probably we from our life think that the person is not a leader. But in the actual sense, that person is a leader on what he or she is doing. Because a person need to know that what I want to achieve from what I'm doing now, I need to have a place which is very clean around that one. Then you need to make a decision. What kind of the tools are required, what times you need. So you have that power of a decisions making around that particular areas which we are doing at that particular point. And then of course you need also to have exercise some sort of the authority. So some people think that the authorities, it must come with every other aspect of authorities we know, but sometimes they're so simple. Even where you put your broom is also some sort of exercise, because you could put somewhere else. So those are the three things. And then the other things which we always famous knows about the leaders, such as what the leaders do, like a planning, organizing. Those are things come later on as you grow through. So first of all, those are the three things you need to have, which can be demonstrated from even at our family level.
So
you could
before
see
you
those
even become a business leader, you need to have the leadership traits in you.
And the fundamentals are those three which I've mentioned. First, the issue of the decisions making, that you are able to make a decisions making around that one. You also have a kind of a focus. You could do the things of a plan, how the futures will look like, and then you also have some exercise, some sort of the authorities. Even among the children, if you see the 3 years different, you can tell the difference. Somebody can make a bit of a decisions around that one, can exercise some sort of authorities, and then you could say someone is a junior but can exercise the authorities over somebody who's senior. So you can start showing that kind of a trend. Then the other things that I was saying, that as planning, will also come at a later stage. So that is the fundamental. And then when it's now you link it to the business, now you have to come up with the other environment related to the business, whether you can now exercise in terms of how you could develop peoples, how you could organize in your work, how you could plan. So those will come later on as you go. And they tend also to develop as you grow. Yes, and it will never stop.
Okay. So in a nutshell, you need first to have the leadership traits
Yes.
before you can even assume leadership position in a business level.
Yes.
So this is something. Is there a way what skills? How do you become now a leader? No, let's say you have the general basic traits of a leader from when you were growing up, from the family level, or in your own personal life. But now, how do you take those traits and apply them for you to become the business leader in the corporate world or in the business world? What skills or what do you need to do now to incorporate or to, I would say, adapt those leadership traits for them to work in the corporate world, for you to rise in that leadership position?
Okay. Fine. So, the leadership, there's nobody who is born as a leader. Some people debate that they are leaders born or are made. But in actual leaders are made around that one. Some people get a bit of, even those people who are born in the royal family, they have been also prepared to become a leader. It's not by accident.
It's not by accident, sure.
So they have been made. And then, so there are so many interactions which mold a person to be a leader. From the family level, from the kind of a challenge a person facing throughout their lives, they're also molding a person to become a leader. And then, of course, you find that in the process of growing, somebody also meeting his or her mentor around that one to develop around that. And then you see that what do you want to become? And then once you know that, okay, this is what I want to become, now what did it take for me to achieve? Because at the end of the day, it's about you. It's about the person. It's not about somebody. Now I want Nancy to be a leader, but Nancy doesn't want to develop in that kind of angle. So at the end of the day, it's about the person, and then now the supporting structures around that one. So it's a school systems, it's your friends, whom do you networking around that one, and the kind of a network we have, does that network really help you to do? Those are people who are giving you the positive encouragement to move forward, or your network is everybody's pulling you down. So all those things developed to a person to become the leaders whom we are seeing today. Yeah.
So you mean to say that it's an effort. First of all, it needs to be personal.
Yes.
For someone to become a business leader, you need to have that personal drive to want to have the vision and to know what's required for you to become a business leader in that respective area. But also the supporting factors, like the people you network with, like you said, the mentor. Maybe you can get a coach or a mentor to support you.
Yes.
Okay, so there is no special skills that you need?
Okay.
If you can name at least 3 key skills.
If you are saying that, the first things I would say that people should have the right attitude. Yes. The right attitude in say that you have an open mind to learn. You use every opportunity for you to learn, rather than using that something to discourage you to move forward. That's important. Then second is the resilience. In the general world, always you'll find the life is not that much smooth. The life always send inevitable waves. So there's ups and downs. How do you respond to the downside of the life, also shaping you and determining your leadership? So the resilience is quite very, very important part for a person to become a leader, whom you are seeing them as a leader. They've gone through a lot of there's so much ups and downs, so it's important. So I'd say that is a lot of the attitude, that you must have a right attitude, positive attitude around that one. And then the third one we mentioned is a learning agility. You need to have that kind. Always use an opportunity to learn. You stop being a leader once you stop learning. Then automatically that day you stop learning, because you find everything you're already being overtaken by events, and then you stop become relevant to the environment you have. So always use an opportunity to learn. So those are the 3 things which I said that they're very important. And the leaders, look on all the leaders, you will see them. And that's why we talk about, to see that when we talk of a lot of leaders, they're always saying that, okay, I have attending this kind of trainings, I'm reading, they're even competing numbers of the books they've read.
True.
This is part of the sharpening their skills, because it's a very important part of the leadership.
You need to always be ahead of the curve.
And now to have to have that attitude of always reading the books, you need to have the right attitude. So you see that it starts with the attitude, and then you see that there's always a challenge because you have the right attitude. But now you could have the challenge, and then the challenge gives you an excuse not to read. No, okay? So you need to have to see that you should have a resilience, and then you go back and then you see
agility.
that I need to keep on learning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Like I mentioned in the very beginning, we have so many young people out there. If you go through LinkedIn, for example, so many young people out there calling themselves founder and CEO. Or, I mean, it's not a bad thing. They're probably entrepreneurs and they're starting their own companies, and they truly are, let's say, founders and CEOs. But there's so many out there. It looks like there's so many young people who aspire to become business leaders in a way. How do you guide these? How do we guide these young people? Now, I'm addressing it to you specifically because you've grown to become a business leader, from when you started. And does everyone need to aspire to become CEO or founder or head of or director? Or what's your view and your take on this?
Okay. First, to be a CEO, I think almost everybody is a CEO. Now, maybe we differ on the size. It's almost a CEO on whatever you are doing. And you can call this CEO is a title because there's no rule saying that to be a CEO you must lead in a company with so many employees. So you can be a CEO of your own one-man business, and you can give yourself any titles you want, so long that titles motivate you to do what you like, what you have a passion of that one. So to me, people call themselves the founders. It's fine, and I expect it to have more and more founders of the business, more and more CEOs as we move, and that's fine, because this is how the world is. So to me, I think that for young people to know that so long as you have got a drive, you have a passion and on what you are doing and what you think, and so long that you have taken an opportunity to see that what are this world presented to you in terms of the opportunities, and you have able to grasp and having your own unique ideas, then
go for it.
Get into that one.
So it's okay. There can be as many CEOs out there.
We can have as many as CEOs as we want. Yeah. So that is important. And remember that once you get into that one, always once you are doing your passion, you remember also there's another part we tend also to forget, that you also need to understand the impact you will have to the rest, to the community you have. It's also very important. You need also to be sure that what will the world, what will the community remember me for? So always look for that.
It's another important element of being a leader.
And to also for you to move. You need also to have the kind of the what are you doing for your own communities around that one. So look on that around that one. Yeah.
I think
but having so many CEOs, it's okay.
This is very okay.
Yeah.
So keep being founders, keep being CEOs. It's very good, as Conrad explained. We need more founders, and we need more people who can identify themselves as leaders, because they are the change makers. They're the ones driving change. As long as they remember the 3 key points of becoming a leader in a corporate world or in a business world, you need resilience, right?
Yes.
You need the right attitude, and you need to be agility. Correct. So now let's talk about your experience as HR director. What do you think will be the requirements of future talent? Yeah.
Okay.
In the future, we are moving this. Now we're talking about things like jobs of the future or the future of work. Science and technology is changing. What do you think will be the changes, and what requirements will this bring to the business world, and what will HRDs be now looking at, or HRMs be looking at in terms of talent in the future?
Okay. So the first thing is that I believe, personal, that ability of the business, any business, to develop business leaders faster than the competitor is very critical to remain relevant in the business environment. So that is a fundamental around that one. Now, what is the skills or what is the future skills? We see now at the moment with the rise of the artificial intelligence, we talk about the gig economies now, the people who are just come for a specific project and then they leave and they can work from anywhere.
Yes.
In the past, probably we had a lot of fears on the people working from home.
True.
But now it's something
it's
which
possible.
is
It can
possible.
be done.
It can be done,
Yeah.
and yet people can still be effective. So those are you see that the technology has bring a lot of opportunities. And to me, what my experience has always be, in order to remain relevant, you need always to stay with the technology rather than trying to fight with the technology. Technology. Yeah. So that is the first thing. So I do believe that it will be more technology driven as future society. So because of that, people need also to ensure that you got the relevant kind of the skills required for the future. And that's why the point of learning agility still remain there, relevant now and also relevant in the future around that one, being a bit more resilience and the issue for integrities will still remain. Now people also work from home, so the integrities remains higher on agenda for people. And then again, the opportunities now to work in collaboration will become more relevant in the future. Take into account now people are working in the very, very wider world and the ability to integrate it with the world rather than see that I work with isolation. No, you need to be able to integrate and ensure that your skills now become a skill which is a portable skill that you use now. It can be used in another setup, in another setup, because the thing keep on change. Yeah.
What about creativity?
Well, creativity will remain. It will still be remaining there, being relevant for the future generation. And that is one of the things which the organization, they will continue to look for the people who are creatives, who people are still who are innovative, who are very fast in terms of making the decisions, because at this in the future a lot of decisions will be made at a various point. So ability to make the decisions will still be remain, will still be relevant. So that's where I see the futures around that one.
Interesting. What are your thoughts? What do you think the future will present? I mean, what talent, what skills will be needed in the near future, actually, because this wave is moving really fast of advancements in science and technology that are driving change even in the workplace. So what, in your opinion, do you think will be the skills that will be needed? Think of your role right now, the job you have at the moment. What would it look like 20 years from now? Will you still be working in the same way that you're working? What skills should you adapt to in order to continue being relevant? Just as Conrad said. So now let's briefly now, because you've talked about so many areas concerning skills. At the moment, what do you think what are the top skills do companies look for when identifying talent? Also looking at the position that you have currently, what do you think are the top skills that, let's say, SBL looks at when you're trying to source for talent?
Okay, fine. No, it depends on the different organizations. Each organization has different strategies around that one, depending on its nature. But for multinational, for example, organizations, the key things is we scan for the skills globally. And when I'm saying that the skills globally, it means that it's always saying that the qualities of analysts in Tanzania should be, for example, the same that the quality in other part of the world, because at the end of the day there's a lot of the collaboration. So when we are looking for that, we are looking at how you compare to the local, but you see that how will this also match?
If you're plugged out today and sent to work in a different country, will you still be?
And they will be seeing the same type of equality. That's number one. But also, we will all talk about at the initial, we talk about the leaderships. The ability of this person to grow within the organization. Once he's in, it's not a person, it's not a talent which once you are in, you are stuck where you are. Rather than you also grow, then we create space for the other. And when you grow, you don't look locally, you look globally.
You look globally, yes.
So that's the kind. So the first is that you look that the person has the right attitude. Of course, you match also with the culture. That's very important around that one. But also the potential for growth. And that potential has to be within the timeline. Each organization has a different timeline. So you need to check the timeline of that, because it can't be 10 years. The technology may not allow us to have. So the ability also to grow, as I mentioned, that ability to grow individual faster than competitor is very critical in this competitive. When we are talking about war on talent, we are all talking about how fast we can develop the people compared to the other competitor. That's very, very critical. So when we are looking at that one, so we look on that a person who always can fit around. For the other local companies, of course, they could have the same, but they may be compared within the local scale. But the principle will still be the same. The ability of that person also to grow within the organizations. And that's also very, very, very important. And then we know now we have, and then we look on always seeing that if that part of the innovational part, the creativities of that person has, does he or she has what it takes, and will he add? Because always we also compare what we see and what our culture is, what we have. Remember that in all setup, you send your CV and the interviews, 15-30 minutes done. So that is the only times they can do that and make it. Of course, you can have the other assessment thing like, but it's a very short times for you to be able to sell what you can deliver. And for the other part to know that, okay, he or she says so, will she do that? What is she? Is she able? And is this person has a potential to be trained? Maybe you have not been exposed because of the different environment. We come from the different environment. A person has a potential, but probably because he was not exposed to. So once we have the person on board, if we expose, will that person grow?
Will they learn fast?
So that is also what we always look when we do, when these multinational corporations do their recruitment.
So Conrad, we are at the very end of our program. I would like you to share with our audience out there. There could be young people aspiring to become business leaders someday. What general advice do you have for them, and especially looking at your experience? What was the secret to your success, and what can you tell them as an advice?
The first thing is self-discipline. That is the most important part that you know that you need to have, as you always ensure that you commit on your very clear plan, and you are really willing to make a follow through that particular plan. And then second, you need also to ensure that in your plan around that one, you know that what you want to achieve, and you focus on that plan. So don't be the person you always change the plan. Of course, sometimes you can, but always having the focus around that one. And then the third things I will say that always having the correct network around you to supporting you, always to ensure that you achieve your dream. It helps a lot with that, particularly your peer. Otherwise, sometimes you're getting a bit of a discouraged around that one. So that is my advice.
If you want to learn more, if you want to know more about Conrad, you can visit his LinkedIn profile. You can look at all the places he's worked for and get inspired. But also, if you are a person that wants to share or learn more about how you can start your career, you can really visit our website. We have so many job opportunities for you. And if you're a person that wants to read ideas from business leaders like Conrad and others, you can visit our movement account or our movement page on our website, where you find tons of articles from different business leaders and people from different backgrounds that have shared their ideas. And if you yourself want to share your journey and your experience and whatever you want to share with the world, please create a mover profile on our website and feel free to share your ideas with the world. Conrad, thank you so much for joining us today. This was a great discussion that I believe our viewers and young people out there have learned so much from you and from your wisdom. How can they reach you? Maybe someone wants you to be a mentor. How can they reach you?
Okay, you equal mentioned that you getting to the LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You know the same things which I've mentioned about the networks.
Yeah.
You know, it's depend on where your networks, and some people are making follow up to the empowers, so they know that you're on the correct network.
True.
This is the kind of the networks I'm referring to. Yes.
Okay, so you can go to LinkedIn and send him a message, and I'm sure he'll be happy to respond. So thank you so much. Please follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have so much to share with you, so much content and knowledge and stories that will be helpful towards your career journey and personally in your life. So until next time, I was your host, Nancy Mbogoro, and this is Conrad. We are signing out. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye. Thanks.